Welcome to Six in the City, the podcast where 620-somethings talk about shit and some of them live in cities.
I'm Jen.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Nancy.
I'm Elena.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Robin.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm Nancy, hosting today's Halloween special, and we are joined here with Lexi, Jen, and Jane. This episode is going to be released on Halloween, but we are recording it a couple weeks earlier, so it's all things spooky and spoopy, as Lexi would say, which I actually say a lot now as well. But we're just going to kick things off right now with the first question is just if you guys have any Halloween plans for this year.
I think my Halloween plans are seeing Jane and Robin maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Jen, what are we doing?
I think we might just chill at Robin's apartment, and I think that's what she said, but we don't know.
Yeah, like a
Who
small
knows what we'll do.
costume party.
Yeah. Or maybe walk around the city.
Trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating.
I live in a house for the first time. Well, obviously when I was a kid, I lived in a house, but I lived in apartments for most of my adult life so far. So this is the first year that I have a house. And so I have this concern where I'm not going to be like trick or treat prepared, or I'm going to over prepare and then eat all the candy myself because I'm on a really busy road. And like personally, I probably wouldn't let my kid walk down this road. I would like steer them more into like the actual neighborhood. But if a kid lives right here, they might want to come over here. So I need to talk to my neighbors and like gauge how much candy to buy. But I haven't seen anyone out and about the past couple days because it's been freezing. So like no one's been outside. And also on October 23rd, I bought a ticket to a zombie bar crawl, but I'm on the fence about actually going. Last Halloween bar crawl I went to was very disappointing. Yes. Nancy was there. Nancy remembers. We ended up just like eating McDonald's in my apartment. Like it was so bad. So I'm on the fence really. I don't want to have to buy a costume is the other problem, but I'd like to go.
Yeah, that Halloween bar crawl sucks, but it sucked because we couldn't get into the bars because they oversold the tickets. So we were sober the entire time. Yeah. It was fun to like hang out and actually have a conversation with everyone and talk, but we were sober again the entire time.
Yeah. And this was only $10, which makes me think they definitely oversold it because how are they making a profit off only $10 a person? Unless they oversold.
Yeah, I think ours was like the same, like $15 or something. Like
I'm suspicious.
But it's okay. I think you should go and have fun. But your costume thing, like, I get that concern. Like Jen and Jane, do you guys plan on getting costumes or dressing up? Oh,
yes,
Jen.
I actually have to buy it like tonight or tomorrow, but I'm going to be Kermit the Frog.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the hat, and I'm gonna buy like a green sweater, might get like the styrofoam felt to make the collar. I haven't dressed up for Halloween in like several years, so I kind of want to do it this year. What you, Jane?
That.
You have to do something. We gotta do
I don't know
it.
what I know because I know we said it's a costume party, but I don't know.
Do something
like
ironic.
What? Like what?
I don't know. Like that classic viral picture where the woman gives herself like a makeup black eye and she tapes peas all over herself and she's like, I'm the black-eyed peas. Like that kind of like dad humor is a good Jane costume in my opinion.
No, that's actually funny as well. Okay, yeah, maybe.
Or you can wear cat ears and have a shirt that, say copy, you'll be a copycat.
Yeah, like a play on words. Or maybe Jen, I'll just wear a really slutty Halloween costume for you guys.
Honestly, wear some red lingerie and like a devil ears and stuff. That's it. Yeah. That's all you need.
I'll be like a sexy maid.
I'm gonna go to TJ Maxx and just buy underwear. That's a costume.
Yeah, and you can rewear it. That's the thing.
How about you, Nancy? Plans / costume?
So the thing with Halloween for me, since going to college and being like not socially acceptable to trick or treat anymore, is that Halloween doesn't live up to my expectations. I always overhype it in my mind because younger, I love trick or treating. But now it's not socially acceptable. So I always overhyped it. But this year I do have friends visiting from Florida for Halloween weekend. And so then they wanted to dress up, but I'm the same way, as in like I can't fathom spending money on a costume that I'm not gonna wear again likely. So I told them I'll compromise and I'll probably buy a Halloween themed shirt that I can rewear, and
Like
I'll
a
wear
pumpkin
it.
or something.
Why don't you buy
Yeah,
a
you know.
costume and wear it every year for the rest of your life?
Or like a
I've done
onesie.
that. So I feel like I've worn out my tiger onesie and my tiger robe because I kept doing that for the last like 3 years or something. So I think that I need a refresher or something. Worst case scenario, I have a Christmas themed shirt and I can wear as an irony, like it's like a present. So it's like I can wear it like I'm a present. But yeah, I'm not going in with high expectations, because for me it's just about spending time with my friends.
Does
So
Nick
that's
not
what we're
want to do
doing.
like a matching couple costume? Because you did it 2 years ago, right?
They were
Yeah, 'cause that was-
Pikachu and Ash Ketchum 2 years
We
ago.
Yeah.
were.
Cute.
They were
I
really
think
cute. Cutest couple at the
Thank
barn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think because I'm focusing more on my friend's visit and we are doing things during the day, that I didn't push him to, do it. So maybe next year.
Oh my God, wait, I
when-
have a costume for you that's easy and it only involves things that are already in your house.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Okay, you're a dog walker. You've like got dog poop bags coming out of your pocket. You've got hand sanitizer clipped on your belt. You've got like a little pouch full of treats and you keep handing them out to people like little cookies, and you're like, oh, good boy, good girl.
That's funny. That's funny, because if that's like, we were trying to think like, oh, should we do like a group themed thing if we do something? Maybe they can be dogs.
You're
dogs.
just walking.
You're the dog walker and they're dogs.
Wait, that's hilarious. With like a fanny pack or something, and like the
Mhm.
hydration pack.
Yeah. Like you're like dressed like a real true like DC area dog walker, like sneakers, athleisure, a little baseball
Right.
cap that says like dog mom or something. You just write it on
That's funny. Well, when this episode airs, what people need to do is check our Instagrams and see what we did that Saturday night, if we
We'll
dressed up
post
as
it.
anything. So then I guess for trick-or-treating, do you guys like have favorite candies you guys would look forward to when you guys would go trick-or-treating, or worst candies? Were there candies that you always traded for? Did you guys trade candies?
I don't remember. I really like those mini boxes of like the nerds, or the mini boxes of like Mike and Ike's or something, like Smarties, like the Tootsie Rolls, like the mini version.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
the
the
good stuff.
I remember when I was trick-or-treating, back in my old like childhood neighborhood, there was this one neighborhood and it was very like widely known as the affluent neighborhood.
Oh,
And they lived
yes.
up to that because they would always, every house would give you full candy bars, like the
Yeah.
Costco, like full size. We're like, oh my God.
When I was little, my parents were really, really broke. So we wouldn't trick or treat in our neighborhood. Or if we did, we would do that one night, and then another night they would drive me to like the bougie part of town, and like they'd put on their best clothes, like a Calvin Klein sweater. This was like the late 90s, okay? Like they would put on their best little outfits so they didn't look out of place. They would park kind of far away so it would look like we were just walking like normal, and we'd walk through the bougie neighborhood, and then we'd bring the candy home, and all three of us would have the candy. So that's my experience. But also anything I didn't like, I would put in a bucket, and my mom would take it to work because my mom worked in a restaurant, and she would like leave it out in the back in the kitchen, and like on breaks people would like eat the candy, and they'd always, when they saw me, they'd be like, thanks for all the candy. And I was like, it's the bad stuff. But I'm very picky. So it was like more than half my candy was like, no.
That's so funny that I'm glad that my family was the only one who would trick or treat in the affluent neighborhoods, even though you didn't
Gotta do what you gotta
in it.
do.
Yeah, like, because
you gotta drive up to okay, now if they give you a full bar, you say thank you so much, sir, ma'am.
right, like, so my family, we actually didn't start trick-or-treating in actual neighborhoods until I was in middle school. We would actually trick-or-treat in the malls because my family thought it was safer. So you would like
That's
go to
actually
the
smart because
stores.
it's like businesses. So like, what are they gonna do?
Exactly. So, and the adults can window shop or actually shop, but a lot of people don't know this, but at least when I was younger, malls would do trick-or-treating, and you just go around the shops and you get candy. But then my parents used to own a nail salon in a pretty affluent, close to a pretty affluent like clientele and neighborhood. So we would, dress up and like go there. And yeah, no, they also do the same thing with passing out full-size candy bars. There was one house who ran out of candy, so they gave us money, like dollar bills.
Oh my
And there was
God.
this guy that, this is like one of my like core memories of trick-or-treating. We don't know who he is. He's like the Great Gatsby of that area. Like no one really like knows him, but he like throws these like cool parties and events. And during every Halloween, he had this trailer, like those games, like carnival games where you like shoot the water and then like it like races horses, but in this case it's zombies, and whoever wins gets like free zombie themed plush, and the adults would get free wine, and like you get popcorn and candy. But we never met this guy. Like we never, like the adults would talk and be like, oh, like who is he? And someone's like, he's like the Trump of Canada or something. But like we don't know. We've like literally never met this guy in all the years that we went. But I'm glad to know that we are not the only ones mooching off of these affluent neighborhoods, even though we're not a part of them. Well, I was gonna ask, do you guys remember or know what your very first costume was that your parents dressed you up as?
I'm pretty sure I was a pumpkin for like 12 years straight.
That is so cute, Jane.
You're a pumpkin again, but the sexy pumpkin. You've evolved.
Open back pumpkin.
I think one of my earliest memories is like the pop star, like the Lizzie McGuire kind of pop star costume.
Iconic, very Y2K.
Like the pink, it's like sparkly latex,
Mhm. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I've seen people rock that in the O's.
What about you, Lexi?
When I was 11 months old, I was a pig, and I only know that because of pictures. Like
So
I don't
cute.
recall being a pig, but until I was like, I think like 13 or 14, my dad sewed my costumes. Again, this goes back to my parents being very broke when I was born. So my dad would take like scrap fabric from other projects and sew me costumes. And some of the coolest ones, he did a Teletubby that looked way better than the Teletubbies in the store. And then like I went to preschool and all the other kids had like the store-bought Teletubby costumes, and they thought mine was like bougie, like custom special. And I was like, that's what my dad gets for being cheap. He gets like a nice high-end costume. Yeah, and I was a cat once, and so he would make me anything. And if I didn't have an idea, or when I was too young to have an idea, he would just come up with it. So I was like a little pig, and my parents were farmers, because we usually did a family thing.
That's
Like
really
one
cute.
year, my brother and I were like Luke and Leia, and then my mom was Padme and my dad was Darth Vader, which was like a little
Cute.
timeline confusing because he probably should have just been Anakin, and like I guess me and Mason shouldn't have been Luke and Leia in the same space. Like I guess the joke was like they're their parents, but a lot of complicated stuff going on.
What
I'll dig up some
Teletubby were
pictures of
you?
that. What Teletubby? Oh my God. What's the red one called?
I think it's
What's-
Poe.
Yeah, no, I was the red one. I'll find pictures. I have pictures of all this shit. I was Madeline one year, and my dad made like the little collar and the little tie, and,
Aw.
So cute.
and my dog. I carried him around like the little dog in Madeline, but he was very big, so I was like, he was like the same size as me.
My first costume, I don't remember it, but my mom had a picture somewhere, or at least told me, was Lala from Teletubbies. That's a yellow Teletubby. And then my first like actual memory of being in a costume was Barney. I was Barney. And then growing up, like I didn't like, having my parents like, spend money on something that I wouldn't wear again. So I would like actually wear like Vietnamese, like ao dai, like traditional like clothes. And then when people ask, I'd be like, a Vietnamese princess. And they'll be like, you're so cultured. But then in high school, when I actually started like being invited out to like go out with friends or having friends come with me, then I'll start like doing like Disney bound type stuff before, Disney bound was really popular, but it wasn't Disney. It was like just getting things out of your closet. So I was like Red Riding Hood, but I wore a white dress, and I just found red fabric that my mom made into a cape and like created a basket. I did cosplay one year. I was Yuki from Vampire Night, if anyone knew. So I had a black blazer, and my mom sewed on like the actual like white stripes, the like white lining on the blazer to be the school uniform. But then she sewed it on in a way that you can take it out easily to wear it as an actual blazer. So yeah, I did a lot of that.
When I was younger, I went to Waldorf school, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's like a school of thought for like kids education, I guess. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it like originated from Germany. But anyway, I went to that kind of Waldorf school when I was younger, and they had this thing because they didn't want kids to eat too much candy, so they called it the pumpkin fairy. And basically, like the pumpkin fairy is like this tooth fairy. Like they take your candy and then give you
Ooh.
money. So my parents were
Oh.
like, "Oh, the pumpkin fairy, you have to leave your candy out for the fairy." And so like I'll just take like 3 pieces of candy, put it out for the pumpkin fairy, and then my mom would give me like $20 or something.
$20 for 3 pieces of candy.
Well, she'll take the rest of it and like do whatever she wanted with it.
That's still pretty good. That's a pretty
Oh,
good deal.
you
Yeah.
took 3 pieces of candy and she took the rest.
Yeah, and then she gave me
okay.
$20. Yeah.
Oh,
in
okay,
exchange.
okay. Are you guys a fan of like horror movies or going into like haunted houses or anything like that?
No. I think I've only been to like one haunted house, like at like Six Flags or something. I don't know. No.
I like haunted houses. I really don't like horror movies though. For like haunted houses, it's like an experience. So like when I'm out of the house, I know it's over. But when it's a movie, it's like I keep imagining. So like I can't shower after I watch a horror movie. Like I can't close the shower curtains because I'm like an axe murder is gonna kill me while I'm showering, and I can't like close my eyes when I'm shampooing my hair. So
I got chills.
Right. What about you, Lexi?
Oh, I like thrillers, like psychological spookiness, but I don't like horror movies, like violence, gory, like straight up horror. But I actually am like the opposite of Jane. I think the in-person stuff is far worse. And I was actually invited to a haunted corn maze, and I thought about going just for socialization because I am lonely. But I was like, no, it's not worth it.
No, I feel you. I can't do horror movies because I'm the same as Jane. But on the flip side, I love horror stories. So I'm a big fan.
Really?
Oh yeah, I read
wait,
No
does like
Sleep.
no sleep? I don't think I could do that.
Oh my gosh,
Every time I
love
see it, I just
it.
scroll right past.
So here's the thing.
Nancy's
I
obsessed with them, and she has been for a while.
Lexi knows. I'm obsessed, but I also love the plot of horror movies because it's like, you know, usually
Do you
it's
ever
based
go
on a
on
book or
Wikipedia
something.
and read the plots of movies
Oh,
you couldn't handle watching?
yes,
Because I do that all the time. Like when Midsummer came
100%.
out, I was like, I can't wait to read the wiki of this because I know I can't watch it.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. So there's actually a subreddit called like, I can't remember. I'll send it to you, Lexi, but it's specifically for like, it's like scaredy cats for horror or something. So it's specifically geared for people who want the full synopsis and to be spoiled, but they're scared like me. But yeah, no, I love no sleep stories, but I go through phases because I psych myself out. Like I scare myself and I think the same, and I have an overactive imagination, but at least for me, I imagine it and I'm not watching it. And I can't do horror, like gore, like bloody gore and violence. I can't do like pop-up scares, but I just love reading. I just love the plot line and the storyline of it. So I'm a big fan of no sleep stories. So anyone who wants no sleep recommendations, I've probably read like all the main ones for sure, like all the top ones. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Yes.
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 This is a safe space, no judgment here. Because I believe in ghosts.
I believe in spirits.
No,
but I
get
think
you.
the like pop culture ghost is just not correct.
Wait, yeah, what do
Right.
you guys mean by you believe in ghosts and spirits?
I do believe that there are entities that have not quote unquote crossed over, I guess, and are stuck on this human plane and are able to interact with humans in some kind of capability. So I don't believe in a sense of a ghost is like an actual, like you can see the full person, you know, like they're just energy sometimes or orbs, I guess, that can manipulate the environment around you. And sometimes you might be a part of that manipulation. But not ghosts in the sense of like Lexi say, like mainstream. Lexi, how would you describe like your
Similar to what you say, like I feel like the like pop culture idea of like it's like a translucent person like just came about because like especially with like the movie industry, it was like an easy effect to make on a budget,
Right.
and early horror films and just early films in general, it was a way to represent an idea of something. But I think if you actually this is the anthropologist archaeologist coming out, but I think if you actually trace back to like the origins of like sharing of stories of beings or entities, you know, a lot of modern ideas are shaped by pop culture, but if you go back in history of a lot of cultures, there's this shared idea of spiritual energy. So I think it's more that.
What about you, Jane?
I think it's more like this isn't really like ghost or like spirit related. It's more like energy, I guess, kind of like what Lexi said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the law of conservation of mass.
Mhm.
That's like what I believe of. I don't know if that necessarily means like ghosts or spirits.
Right. Have you guys had any encounters?
No. Or maybe I did, and I was just like, huh, that was weird. Just the rest of my life.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what was that? Okay.
I worked in a historic house for a long time, like 5 years, 6 years. And there were times when I thought maybe like something was happening, but I never felt it was malicious. And then the 2 years I worked at the job I talked about in part-time jobs, I definitely like felt like I wasn't alone sometimes when I was in theory alone. And honestly, if you'd asked me before I worked that job, like I probably would have discredited the experiences from the first job and thought nothing of them and just been like, I don't really believe in spirits. But after having that job at that place where I encountered a lot of those experiences and I was working alone in the evening a lot and I like felt the presence of someone, now I certainly believe there's something and that it is bad juju in that place specifically, but that it might exist other places as well.
I wouldn't say the encounter I had was ghosts, but it was definitely paranormal.
Mhm.
So my family, it was like my family and a bunch of family friends. So there was 18 of us, and we were actually road tripping to the Grand Canyon, but we took a detour and like my dad got lost. We actually, you know, it took a lot longer than it needed to. And we actually stopped by Flagstaff, Arizona to ask for directions at a firehouse. And these firemen were like, oh yeah, like, you know, these are the directions. And my dad went on the highway and he like took a detour. So it took like actually hours to get there when it could have only taken like an hour and a half. But on the way there, it like got dark. The sun had already set. And I don't know why my dad in his right mind thought that we can still make it to the Grand Canyon when the Grand Canyon like closes at, you know, dusk. So we were on the highway and it's a two lanes on each side. And my dad was on the farmost right lane. And everyone at this point was asleep except for my dad, one of the family friends sitting in the front, and me sitting in the second row. And we were like, you know, we were driving, and then all of a sudden, my dad swerved. And because he swerved because he thought he was going to hit these two random people on the side of the road. And they literally, like, it felt like they literally popped out of the, like nowhere, because it's dark and you have your headlights on and like you can see pretty, you know, with like the headlights, you can see pretty far like what's there, but all of a sudden it's like these two people just popped out of nowhere. But what was weird about them was I can still picture it distinctly. It was two people. One, like they're really, really tall. They're wearing like raincoats, but black raincoats with like a black hat and black sunglasses. But it's the middle of the summer in Arizona, so it doesn't make sense why they're wearing this. And they had their thumbs like out because it's like looked like they were trying to hitchhike, and they were waving a sign really quickly, like so quickly you couldn't read it. And they had this creepy smile on their face. Like for the three of us that were awake, we were like, oh my gosh, like, did you see that? Like, where did they come out? Like, they just literally appeared out of nowhere. And so then it really like shook us up and it woke up everyone. And, you know, like my dad was like, okay, like whatever, it's fine. We got to the Grand Canyon and then they were like, well, it's closed. We can't. So we had to like go back. And so we were like explaining like to my family on the way back at this point, and we were just saying like, oh, like we just like saw these random two people. And so then my dad, like when he drove past near, because we remember it being near the gas station, that was another weird thing. We had shortly, like a gas station was probably like a quarter of a mile away. Why didn't these two people just walk to the gas station if they really needed a lift, right? Like being like some kind of environment. Why are you like further away when you could easily walk? So then we were approaching that gas station. I was telling people like, oh, like these people were probably right here. And where I pointed were two headstones in the middle of like the highway. And so then my dad was really shook because he was like, Nancy, you just pointed at two headstones that were definitely not noticeable right there. So he like literally had to stop at the gas station and switch drivers because my dad was so shaken up. And then I looked up. Apparently, I don't know if this is correlated or not, but Flagstaff, Arizona is one of the most haunted towns in the United States. It really like shook me up that day. And to this day, I still remember these two like beings, entities, humans, whatever, however you want to define it. But the way they were just dressed, the way they looked, it was just really creepy and just gave me chills. And it really could just be two people, that were just needed, to hitchhike, and they were just dressed weirdly or whatever. But it really burned in my memory because it was just so freaky. But yeah, but I always believed in like paranormal stuff before anyways. Did you guys like ever play Bloody Mary or like with an Ouija board or anything with your friends while growing up?
I remember like one of the first like parties, like sleepovers I went to like as a kid. It was at my like best friend from like my childhood. She was like hosting it, and she's like, "Is know that like Bloody Mary something like you say like 3 times in front of the mirror or something." Okay, they're like, "Go do that," and I was like, "What?" I just didn't know anything. I felt really awkward. But
Apparently, most people do Bloody Mary wrong. And if you would like to hear how it is done correctly, go listen to Lady History Podcast, which when you hear this will have come out on Thursday before Halloween. One of the ladies featured this week is Bloody Mary. And one of my co-hosts tells you how everyone does it wrong. Apparently, you need a man near death.
Oh.
Who has that?
And you can't be alone. Yeah. So listen for a full guide. Not that it's like she doesn't build it like a step-by-step guide, but she kind of tells you what most people do wrong.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. I never played Bloody Mary because, like I said, I like grew up like just believing it, the paranormal and stuff. So I never touched an Ouija board. I never played Bloody Mary because what if it is true? Then I die. Yeah. That's not a great, like I'd rather not play with it at all.
But Nancy, apparently we don't do it right, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what if you do it right?
Do you have a man near death?
Not that I know of. But I always heard about it was like the lights off in the bathroom with a candle, and you like say her name 3 times, and you like blow out the candle or something, or you wait for the candle to be blown out. Something with a candle and the mirror. In the dark.
Yeah. Bathroom.
Yeah. I guess for the last 10 minutes or so, I figured we can lighten things up with some Halloween trivia questions so that no one is scared.
I actually had to make a Halloween trivia thing for work, so.
See, so you might possibly know some of this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Not remember them, but yeah.
It's okay. Okay. So the first one is, where does the term jack-o'-lantern come from? Does anyone know?
Wait, it was like this guy in like Ireland, right?
Yeah, so an Irish folktale about a cheap man named Stingy Jack who made a deal with the devil.
Damn.
Wow.
Jack.
Okay. Next trivia.
What sort of mask does Michael Myers wear in the original Halloween?
Hockey. A hockey goalie. Isn't it?
No.
It's not a hockey mask?
Well, I don't know if in the movie it's portrayed as a hockey mask, but what he actually wears is not an actual hockey mask.
Is it a picture mask?
It's a mask of someone.
Ew.
So because the studio had such a small budget, they had to use the cheapest mask they could find. It was a $2 William Shatner mask they spray painted white. So it's a William Shatner, supposedly. By the way, I'm getting all of this from parade.com. If anyone wants to fact check me, I didn't fact check parade.com. But
it's okay.
Parade.com, 50 Halloween trivia questions and answers. Get you ready for the scariest day of the year. So, this is where I'm getting all of my information from. Okay. How many pounds of candy corn are produced each year?
Wait, I know this. It's like 3 billion or something, right?
No, not even. No, it's
3
less.
point something.
1
Are you talking
million?
about pounds? Are you talking, Jane? Are you talking about pounds or pieces?
I think pieces.
3 billion is a low number.
There's a 3 though, right?
It's 35 million pounds or about 9 billion pieces.
Of candy corn?
Yes.
Who
I
eats all
love
that?
candy
That sounds
corn.
like food waste. I don't know who
Yeah,
eats
that's
it.
disgusting.
I don't like candy corn, but Nick loves candy corn.
Haters, it's delicious.
How do you
My
eat
mom
that
uses
much
it.
candy corn?
My mom uses it to fill vases for her spooky decor.
I was gonna say, I think a
Mm.
lot of people, not a lot of people, there are people out there that use it for decoration for sure.
Okay, that makes more sense.
How much did Americans spend on Halloween in 2019?
Like on costumes?
Just I
1
guess in general,
billion.
more. I guess
2.8
I think Halloween
billion.
decor-
3 billion. 3 billion.
Lexi was close, 2.6 billion.
Billion?
Oh, I was 0.2
Billion.
billion off.
I'm
Oh my
assuming it
God.
means costume, candy,
Decor,
decorations.
candy. Yeah, if you add it all
yeah.
up.
Apparently, it's the second most like consumer oriented whatever
Yeah, I would
holiday.
assume. In terms of sales
Christmas.
of crap,
After Christmas.
it's definitely almost as much as Christmas. And like Easter
What
gets
would-
some crap sales, but not as much.
Yeah.
I would say what would be number 3? I feel like Valentine's or 4th of July.
Yeah.
I think
Valentine's definitely
Valentine's.
has a lot of crap. And then
Yeah.
like
Right.
4th of July, though, it probably is hard to track that because someone might go grocery shopping and buy most of what you need for the 4th of July, but it wouldn't be clear it's indicative of
Mm,
4th of July because like every family,
right.
like depending on your ethnicity, you might eat something different or like, so it's hard to
Yeah.
track.
Oh, what was candy corn originally called?
Is it food related?
I'd say no.
Ball
Not-
beans,
Not food related for humans.
Kernel?
treats.
Oh,
It was called chicken feed.
that's
Oh.
cute.
Hey,
I
that
can
is
see
really
that.
cute.
Let's see. When was Trick or Treat for Unicef founded?
1950.
Yes, Jane. Did you guys ever do that? Trick or Treat for Unicef?
I did.
What medieval English tradition inspired trick or treating?
Did it have to do like the devil or something?
They had demon
Oh,
babies in
Oh,
medieval
wasn't
times. I
it
don't
like
know.
it's a day when like devils would come, so people would dress up to like scare away the demons or devils so they won't kill them?
This one says about trick or treating. So I don't know if yours is maybe correlated to dressing up, like why we dress up on
Oh.
Halloween. But this one says specifically for trick or treating on All Souls Day, the poor would go souling, knocking on doors, offering prayers for residents' deceased loved ones in exchange for food. So I guess like caroling, but
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That sounds like caroling, yeah.
when is Halloween thought to have originated?
4000 BC.
Look at you, Jen.
Really?
hmm
That long ago?
Yeah. So Jen, they did ask the other question that I asked, specifically asked which English tradition, because this question asked which Celtic tradition led to modern day trick-or-treating. And this one said, for the celebration of Samhain, if I'm saying that correctly, people would put treats or food out to pacify evil spirits. So that sounds similar to what you're
Mm,
saying.
evil spirits.
When was Halloween first celebrated in the United States?
1923. I just pulled that out of my butt.
Oh,
Earlier.
Wait. When was the potato famine?
Jane did get the potato famine right, though. It's
No,
around
the Irish people brought it over.
Oh, that
yeah,
makes
so
sense.
It's around the 1840s when there was a flood of Irish immigrants fleeing from the potato famine.
Damn, Jane, Halloween expert.
Dude, I literally did this morning. I'm pretty sure I was like on the same website.
How many calories are in an average trick-or-treater's Halloween stash?
Oh, that's disgusting.
350,000.
Oh, no,
50,000.
no, lower,
1000.
I was trying to
high,
help.
20,000.
lower,
10,000.
15,000.
11,000, about 11,000.
Is that a lot?
Weak ass trick-or-treaters. Did you not go for 3 different days and drive to different neighborhoods? What are you doing?
Is it the average? So I don't know. I wish they would say like how many pounds of candy or something that's equated to that. How many pieces of candy does the average house give to each trick-or-treater?
2.
I think that makes sense from
Yeah.
personal experience. Okay, last one. Or 2 more. What is the most popular Halloween candy in America?
Snickers.
No.
It's not something
Twix?
chocolate based because chocolate is expensive.
Really?
It has to be something, yeah, it has to be something non-chocolate based.
Lexi, you are right.
The
Right.
Smarties.
No.
It's
Is it,
something cheap. It has to be something cheap.
Nerds.
Laffy Tappies?
Taste the rainbow.
Skittles, really?
Yes. Yep.
Also, a lot of
Dude.
kids are allergic to chocolate and peanuts, so a lot of people don't hand them
Oh,
out anymore.
true.
That makes
Ooh,
sense. I
Skittles.
personally love Skittles, so
I
I
love
Can't
Skittles.
Can't complain.
Last question. What were the first ever fun-sized candy bars? There's 2.
Snickers.
Snickers.
Yes. One more.
Twix.
No.
Milky Way?
What's basically a Snickers but minus?
Almond
Isn't that a
Joy.
Milky Way? Isn't a Milky Way?
Oh, sorry,
Snickers?
Milky Way. Yes.
Yeah.
Lexi, you're
Isn't
right.
a Milky Way a Snickers without the peanut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Jen,
Oh,
you said
really?
Almond Joy?
Yeah. Is that
Yeah,
not
Milky Way
it?
and Snickers are basically the same thing.
Yeah, they are.
I really like
Milky
the
Way.
really, really mini ones.
Yes.
Like the,
Because I
the
feel like
square.
yeah.
The midnight Milky Ways that are really small. The
'Cause I
midnight
feel like I
Milky
don't have a
Ways.
sweet tooth, so it's like that's like the perfect amount of candy. I'm like just one and I'm good.
To wrap this up, just trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Be safe. Well, it already happened,
Yeah.
right? Hope you
We'll
guys
probably
had a
be
good Halloween.
recovering.
Yeah, I hope
Halloween.
you're enjoying your like ramen and Gatorade this morning. Or pho, if you're lucky enough to have pho in your neighborhood.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you guys had a nice, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Six in the City. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at sixinthecitypod.
This episode was edited by Nancy with music brought to you by Gandhara Pratama.